Hello everyone and welcome back to the Barrel and the 12th installment in our series where we analyse each AFL club's 2024 fixture, identify some breakout players and set a realistic passing mark for their season. Today we have the North Melbourne Footy Club who came off a very disappointing year in 2023, finishing 17th, but with the AFL's generous assistance package, plenty of high-end talent in the draft as well as one of the best coaches of the modern era in Alistair Clarkson at the helm. Roos fans will be hoping to climb up the ladder. So can they do it? That is the question we'll be answering today. Sit back, relax and enjoy as we recap 2023 and look what lies ahead for them in 2024.
In 2023, the Roos finished 17th on the ladder with 3 wins and 20 losses. They had a very promising start to the year, beating West Coast and Fremantle in the opening 2 rounds by a total of 6 points across both matches. And from there, everything pretty much went downhill. They only got one more win for the rest of the year, coming in the final round against the Suns in Hobart. They lost 20 games in a row throughout the year, which was their 3rd biggest losing streak of all time. Alistair Clarkson was not involved for a fair chunk of the year, so they'd hope to have some stability at the top, which can translate to more wins on field in 2024. Moving on to 2024 now, their fixture was ranked the 2nd easiest. They have 1 bye in round 12. They have 7 home games at Marvel Stadium, including 4 away games at the same venue. And their big clash at Marvel is the Good Friday clash against Carlton, which will be on a Friday afternoon. They have 4 home games at Blundstone Arena in Hobart, playing Adelaide, Port Adelaide, Geelong and West Coast. In addition to that, they have an extra game in Tasmania where they will play Hawthorn in Launceston. They have 8 Saturday games, 4 Sunday games and 2 Friday games across the first 15 rounds. 6 of those are days, 6 twilights and 2 night games. They go to Sydney twice, play in Darwin and Perth, and they travel to Adelaide for Gather Round where they will play the Lions. For double-ups, they have Carlton, Geelong, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, West Coast and the Western Bulldogs. So 1 top 6 side, 2 middle 6 sides and 3 bottom 6 sides. Carlton are definitely not a team that anyone wants to be playing twice. They're coming into the season in as good of a position as they have been in for a long period of time. So those will be 2 pretty tough games there. Geelong, they could be written off, but I wouldn't personally do that just yet. Check out our review video for a comprehensive review of their season, but I certainly wouldn't go lightly into those 2 matches. The Gold Coast Suns, many have picked them to be a big riser in 2024, and rightly so. They recruited Dimmer. They've got a fantastic list. Check out our review video on them for more information. Hawthorn as well, like Gold Coast, many have tipped to be a massive riser, so there's always a sense of danger with playing those 2 clubs mentioned previously. With West Coast, they're very much in the same boat as the Roos themselves. Had a shocking year last year, so they'll be going out with something to prove, looking to get out of the bottom 2. So it'll be 2 interesting contests there. And with the Western Bulldogs, they seem to have the talent-full list but can never translate that onto on-field success. So it'll be interesting to see if they can finally do that or just continue to be a mid-table team at best. Overall, I'd say this fixture is pretty good for them. It's not really difficult at all, so the AFL has given the Roos every opportunity to climb up the ladder. Surprisingly, they've kept their Good Friday game, which is a win for the fans, and they have 2 Friday games in total so far. Although both in the afternoon, that is also another win for their fans who have been deprived of primetime games due to the team's performance in recent years. For breakout players in 2024, I've listed 3 real standouts based on what I saw last year. Number 1, George Wardlaw. I've been a massive fan of this guy since I first saw him make his debut. I genuinely rate him higher than any inside mid prospect I've seen in quite a long time. He's so clean, so strong, and so hard to tackle, which is a perfect formula for his position. If he can overcome his hamstring issues, look out, because Wardlaw will cause so many issues for many teams, and I'm sure he'll turn himself into one of the best midfielders in the competition. He is seriously special. Number 2, we have Eddie Ford. After 3 years in the AFL system, he finally played more than 5 games. He's been known to be a bit of a pest, but there's no doubt he's an ultra explosive forward who can find the scoreboard in spurts. He definitely needs to fix up his consistency, but I can see Ford being a very reliable pressure small forward who plays an important part in the Roos' future climb up the ladder. And finally, we have Will Phillips, who's been luckless with illness and found himself out of the team for a long period of time throughout the year. But when he was in the team, he amassed some hefty disposal numbers, and I can see him taking more of a prominent role in 2024 due to the retirement of Ben Cunnington, who was a club legend for the Roos. I don't quite rate him as highly as Wardlaw, but he is one to watch for a much improved year in 2024. There really are so many players you can pick with the Roos because their list is so young and developing, but these are the three that I have making the biggest improvement from 2023 performance-wise. Now, for a pass mark, being starved of success for so long, I'd imagine that Roos fans agree with me when I say that a pass mark for the club would at least be to get out of the bottom four. The AFL has given them all the help in the world. They have a talented list. They've picked up every gun imaginable in the draft, and they have probably the best coach of the modern era. So they have really no excuse for another poor year. Their forward line is led by one of the best key forwards in the competition, Nick Larkey. He has some good small forwards around him, such as Taron Thomas, Cam Zurhaar, Curtis, and Eddie Ford. Coleman Jones, I think, is also very underrated as a key position player. He showed a bit at the Tigers and should be a reliable second option down there. Dersma and Stevenson are a bit unknown at the moment. Obviously, Stevenson hasn't lived up to the hype since coming from Collingwood, and Dersma fresh out of the draft. He's got some media attention from training, so he should fit nicely into that forward line as another quality young player. Their midfield, I think, is by far the strongest part of the ground. Luke Davies-Uniacke is an absolute A-grader, but he does get injured quite a bit, so he'll be looking to improve in that aspect. Bailey Scott and the newly acquired Dylan Stevens from the Swans should be very good wingers, and the new number one ruck, Sherry, should provide plenty of opportunity to get first hands on the ball for Jai Simpkin and George Wardlaw in the middle. Will Phillips and Cam Zurhaar are the two others you'll probably find in the middle quite a bit, and they offer contrasting but complementary skill sets in the middle. Their backline, I'd say, is the weakest part of the ground. It lacks a lot of class, especially losing Mackay to the Bombers this off-season. But with Sheasel and McKercher likely taking the half-back roles, their ball movement coming outside of 50, will be in great hands. After Sheasel had an absolutely fantastic first year, winning their best and fairest in a pretty comfortable fashion last year. The others around them, though, Core, McDonald, Pink, Coburn, just lack A-grade, and I think they'll once again struggle to prevent large scores being planted onto them for this season. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Roos go in 2024. Can they finally break out from the bottom of the ladder, or will it be another year of disappointment and shame for a largely forgotten club by many due to their inability to win in large stages of this season? That's all I have. Check out our Best 22 video in the description for an idea of who we have making their final team. And that'll do it. Join us next time as we analyse the Port Adelaide Footy Club for season 2024. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Yeah.